Learn English through Stories G35 PDF. Adapted and modified by Kulwant Singh Sandhu. Contents: 1. The Bride Price Part 7, The End. 2. Grammar page. 1. The Bride Price. Buchi Emecheta. Chapter 13. Joy. Soon Akuenene was glad to stay at home. The baby was giving her a very bad time. In the early months, she was sick every morning and unable to eat. Even in the 6th month, she still could not enjoy her food. She hated to cause her young husband so much worry. Chaik remained gentle and loving with her, but his eyes were large and anxious. He paid a local girl to clean the house and do the cooking. "Take it easy," he said to Akuenene. "Read as much as you like and eat plenty of good food." Chaik's eldest brother, who was a doctor, visited them and examined Akuenene. "She's not strong," he told Chaik. "What's the matter with her?" demanded Chaik. "Most girls in Ibuza have babies very easily. Why is it so hard for my wife? She's getting weaker every day." "Don't worry. We can always take her into the hospital for an operation and save both her and the child. And do remember that many native girls die in childbirth too. Your wife didn't get enough of the right food when she was young. She's 16, but she looks like a 14-year-old. You were wrong to give her a child so early, brother." Chaik gave a short, bitter laugh. "We didn't plan this baby, it just happened. Don't worry, everything will be all right. You're a lucky man. She's a sweet, lovely girl. Take good care of her now." At home in Ibuza, Afilu again asked Okonkwo to accept the bride price, and again Okonkwo refused to give his daughter to a slave. Then one day, somebody nobody knew who took away the little doll from Okonkwo's hut. Okonkwo was terribly angry. He paid a medicine man a lot of money to make a new doll. "This will bring Akuenene home," he said. "It will call her back in the wind." Chaik's father came to Ugheli to visit them, and was very glad to see them so happy. When Chaik was at work, Afilu and Akuenene talked and laughed together like old friends. But he always reminded her to rest, so that she was fresh and happy when she welcomed Chaik home from the office. When it was time for Afilu to leave, Akuenene cried on his shoulder. "I hope I shall see you again, father. I know that my uncle Okonkwo does not want to accept my bride price. He hates me, he's calling me back. I hear his voice in the wind when I'm alone, but I'll never answer him. Oh, father, I don't want to die." Chaik did not hear Akuenene's words, but he knew she was crying. He came over and took her gently away from his father. "After our baby is born," he told her, "we shall all go home together and visit father. We'll all look forward to that." Akuenene tried to smile as she waved goodbye to her father-in-law. But now she was frightened to be alone. Again and again she heard her uncle's voice calling her, telling her to return to her family. She could no longer sleep. The doctor gave her sleeping tablets, but they did not help. Every night she and Chaik knelt down together and asked God to help them through this difficult time, but still Akuenene could not rest. Sometimes she woke in the night crying. "Hold me tight," she begged Chaik. "Hold me, my uncle is trying to take me away. Please don't let him get me." "Don't be silly," said Chaik gently. "You don't really believe all that nonsense, do you? You're anxious and excited, that's all. Cheer up, soon the baby will be here." Gently he rubbed her tight, swollen stomach, which looked so huge beside her thin little arms and legs. They spent many nights like this. Then one night, Akuenene suddenly screamed and lost consciousness. Chaik examined her. The baby was coming. At once, he telephoned the doctor, who sent an ambulance at once. Chaik watched anxiously while the ambulance men covered his wife with their horrible red blankets and lifted her into the ambulance. Then he sat beside her and held her hand. When the pain stabbed through her body, he felt them too. When they reached the hospital, the doctor told him the truth. "She must have an operation," he said. "The baby is small, but it will be all right." As Chaik sat on the hard chair in the hospital waiting room, he remembered the shy little girl from Lagos. He remembered all their happy times, the day they bought their new bed, the day he received his first check from the oil company. He remembered their escape together, and tears poured down his face. Someone touched his shoulder. It was Enene Ndio, who had ridden the 7 miles to the hospital on his bicycle to sit beside his brother-in-law. To Enene Ndio, Chaik was perfect. He loved him and was grateful to him for his happy life in Ughelli. He wanted to help Chaik, but did not know how. He held Chaik's hand and cried. A doctor came in. "Mr. Afilu," he said. "Please come with me." Chaik followed like a sleepwalker. The doctor said, "She has had the operation, she isn't conscious yet, and I'm afraid that she may never wake up at all. I'm sorry, we did everything we could, but she was very small and weak. I don't know how she stayed alive so long. I expect you want to sit with her, she's in here." He pointed to a door. "By the way," he whispered, "you have a baby girl. She's small, but she's doing fine." Chaik stared wordlessly at the doctor, then he went into the unnaturally clean white room. He was alone with Aku Inene. She was so beautiful and peaceful lying there. He took her small dry hand and held it. Aku Inene was dying. Chaik called Ndio, and the two of them sat there together. It was almost morning when Aku Ena's hand moved a little. There was a smile on her lips, and she spoke softly but clearly. "I know you are here, my husband." Slowly she opened her eyes. They were very bright, too bright for this world. Ndio heard her voice and came nearer. "Don't worry, brother," she said. "This isn't the end of the road for you, it's the beginning. My husband will look after you. He's a good man, and I thank God for him." Ndio began to cry. Then Aku Inene spoke to Chaik. "Dear husband, be strong, be happy for me." Her voice was very weak now. "Did we have a boy or a girl?" "A little girl," he whispered in her ear. Aku Ena's whole face shone with joy. "I told you so," she whispered. "I told you I wouldn't keep our love a secret. Now everybody will see our little girl, and they will know that our love will never die. Let's call her Joy too, the same name that we gave our marriage bed. Please, promise me you'll call her Joy. Then promise me that you'll be happy, because you have made me so happy, so." Her eyes closed. Chaik took her whole body in his arms and kissed her gently. "Good night, my love. Our child's name shall be Joy." She smiled again, a smile of unbelievable sweetness and beauty. Very softly and peacefully, she died. But he still held her gently, lovingly against his heart. The morning light grew stronger. The doctor came in. "It is time to go now," he said. "Your wife is at peace." "Our child shall be called Joy," repeated Chaik. Afterwards, every girl in Ibuza was told the sad story of Aku Inene and Chaik. "If you want to live a long time," they were told, "you must accept the husband that your people choose for you, and your bride price must be paid. If it is not paid, you will never survive the birth of your first child." Of course, that is all nonsense. Of course, a safe birth does not depend on a bride price. But even today, no girl wants to risk it. The end. 2. Grammar page.